from Hollywood and the four corners of the world. You asked for it. Starring Rich Little. Here's the star of You Asked for It, Rich Little.
Thank you, and welcome to the only show on television that goes anywhere in the world just because you asked for it. Tonight, the fabulous Juggling Wizardry of the Zuniga brothers. Worms that turn out high-priced paintings. A woman who moved into a bird's nest in a tree. And much, much more. First, chasing a speeder at 80 miles an hour on a motorcycle is dangerous work. That's why the officers of the California Highway Patrol go through a rigorous training course in handling these powerful bikes. Well, we're going to take you to the CHP Academy in Sacramento, where Jack Smith is going to tell you how the real-life chips risk their lives to save ours. John Mays of Palm Bay, Florida, you asked for it.
Some of the most skilled bike riders on wheels anywhere are members of the California Highway Patrol. Precision riding like this is the result of training at a special academy in Sacramento, California. All potential motorcycle officers in the state must take the 2-week course, learning the techniques of high-speed chase, emergency maneuvers, and bike safety. All for the day when they ride the highways and freeways of the state, risking their lives to save the lives of others. They're all graduates of one of the toughest, most demanding schools in the world. Their instructor is Officer Gary DeKinder.
I can recall becoming involved in emergency situations and it clicking right away that this is what I do. This is how I handle the machine. And I had the confidence that I could do it. And I think that's a large part of riding a motorcycle. And now that's what I'm trying to do with these students. It makes me feel pretty good because I've never had anybody say that what I learned up here didn't help me.
The training that I got here helped me several times on the road. The training became an instinct. For example, the training we just had out here on the D-cell where we were coming in at 40 miles an hour, braking hard, and then maneuvering to the left. Well, that same maneuver saved my life one time. I knew I'd have been dead if I hadn't known that maneuver.
If you lock up the rear tire, we expect you to respond to it. And remember I said if you snap off the brake when you were locked and you started sliding out, you'll high side, it'll come back, it'll overcorrect. If that truck pulls out, you're not going to have time to get off the brake and back on it. So you're going to stay on the front brake, come all the way down to complete stop.
It takes skill and perseverance to graduate. About 30% of the trainees wash out. The rest develop the kind of polish and balance that you see here. It's not all smooth sailing among the pylons, though. The job calls for taking that bike through all kinds of terrain in all weather. The last thing a patrolman should have to worry about is his riding skills. That has to become instinctive. At the scene of a crime or accident, he must be one with the machine so his mind will be on his job. The real test comes on the open road. That's where these real-life chips put into actual practice what they painstakingly learned at the academy. Maybe we'll all appreciate their work a little more in the future because you asked for it.
You know, they make it all look easy, but don't forget, these are seasoned, experienced drivers, so kids, don't take unnecessary risks when you go out riding your bike. Coming up on You Asked For It, the juggling wizardry of the fabulous Zuniga brothers.
And now back to Rich Little.
Juggling 8 pins is hard enough, but the Zunigas do it with one brother standing on the other's head. Here's a team that's literally head and shoulders above everybody else. And we're going to see them at Circus World in Orlando, Florida, because Judy Watkins of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, you asked for it.
The Zuniga family represents 4 generations of outstanding circus performers. Today, they're rated among the best jugglers in the world. Precision juggling requires constant practice. Hugo and Manuel show how daily discipline pays off, proving that 2 pairs of perfect hands are better than 1. Hugo, the older brother, is more experienced than Manuel, but the younger man is a fast learner with quick hands. Like many brothers, they may sometimes fight, but they remember that theirs is a family act. They take pride in being regarded as the juggling kings of the Ringling Circus.
Uh-oh, they're at it again. Watch out behind you, Hugo. They make this look like a comedy routine, but the skill it takes is just unbelievable. Well, even the best family rivalries finally end up in cooperation. A great bit of skilled comedy juggling. Now, this next feat requires some real cooperation.
Manuel protests that Hugo keeps getting underfoot, but he appreciates his brother's level-headed attitude and constant support. The Zunigas are the only performers in the world who can juggle 8 pins in this position, 5 on top, 3 below. In the immortal words of Al Jolson, you ain't seen nothing yet. Count them, 6. Now, watch and see why they're so great. 8. Sensational, but the best is yet to come. Know why they're the best in the world? Would you believe that now they juggle 9? Now watch this record-breaking performance in slow motion.
We are happy to do this because you asked for it.
Hi, this is W.C. Fields. You know, I was asked one time by a fetching young thing whether I preferred drinking to juggling. I replied, I don't know, my dear. It's a toss-up. And now here's Jack Smith with one of the strangest stories he's ever brought to You Asked For It. Here's Jack.
Thank you, Rich. You know, it usually takes years of struggle for an artist to win recognition. But in 1958, a man named Don Hoster found an ingenious way to avoid that struggle. Don developed a method of turning out pictures without doing any painting himself. You can judge the results for yourself.
Well, there's our genius, loaded with talent. Jan Crawford of Studio City, California, asked to meet Don Hoster, who invented this unusual art form. Don's idea was to get back at abstract artists who claim to express an idea by splashing or dribbling blobs of paint onto canvas. As a matter of fact, Don's never dabbled in oils or painted a picture in his life. He lets the worms do that for him. To create a new art took some experimenting. Here's his first try. He calls it ecstasy in orbit. Not abstract painting, but stark realism, he says. Well, being the world's #1 worm watcher, he'd noticed how worms come to the surface of a mud puddle after a rain. As they crawled around, they left peculiar, graceful tracks, never the same. All Don had to do was get that pattern onto canvas. He calls this one Rampage in a Rope Factory. So now, before our very eyes, Don Hoster will put his worms to work on a new masterpiece. Well, the artists are ready. A masonite board is his canvas, covered with flat paint. The big painting we saw to begin with was in 6 colors, but this will be a subtle symphony in blue and white. Now, if you plan to try this, don't use watercolors. It'll kill the worms. But oil paint doesn't seem to bother them at all. They actually seem to like it. Linseed oil for thinning. Set paint in middle of canvas. Add worms. And stir well. Now, as everyone knows, you can't rush a worm, so our cameraman used what's called a time-lapse technique, which greatly speeds up the action. We'll see a painting that ordinarily takes a half hour, completed from start to finish in little over a minute. Well, out of the dish they go and right to work. When all worms have left the dish, Don takes it off so they can cover the whole canvas. And thanks to our time-lapse camera, their work's already done. All Don has to do is remove them from the canvas. As a reward, he'll take them back to the garden. He has worms of every hue and color crawling around his house. Talk about pink elephants. And there, Jan Crawford, is your worm painting. How'd you like to hang that on your living room wall? You asked for it.
Gee, I feel kind of strange, Jack.
Why is that, Rich?
Well, just think, every time I've gone fishing, I've thrown in the water struggling Picassos.
You know something? You must be a lot of fun at parties.
Coming up on You Asked For It, a woman who lives with a house full of eagles. We'll be back.
And now, back to Rich Little.
Have you ever wanted to take a safari in Africa? Or have you ever had the urge to run with the bulls in Spain? You Asked For It could be your ticket to these and other adventures. Challenge us by writing You Asked For It, P.O. Box 1980, Hollywood, California, 90028. The bald eagle, our national bird. Kill an eagle, and it could cost you a fine of $20,000. Now, that's because the American bald eagle is fighting a losing battle with man. And each year, its numbers get smaller. Well, down in Florida, however, a dedicated, courageous woman is leading a crusade to save our national symbol. Here's Jack with the story because Florence Bush of Jacksonville, Florida, you asked for it.
Instead of letting the dog out of the house in the morning like most Americans, Doris gets up and lets her golden eagle out of her bathtub where it sleeps. This 4-month-old bird is just learning to fly, and until he's better able to take care of himself, Doris will keep him in the house. She's made a lifelong study of the birds and has written numerous articles on their habits and how to care for them.
Gosh, you're getting so beautiful. You've grown so fast. I can't believe it.
Doris Mager is carrying on a one-woman battle to protect our national bird. She's the Director of Research and Rehabilitation of Birds of Prey for the Florida Audubon Society, but she's known simply as the Eagle Lady. The Eagle Lady's concern for the birds has taken her to some unusual extremes.
Well, I have a foam mattress underneath me. I have 2 blankets.
In 1979, to publicize her cause, she spent a week in an eagle's nest as a way to raise money for the care of the birds. Most people who come in contact with these majestic birds fall in love with them. There are hundreds of groups and individuals like Doris who are taking the time and effort to raise eagles and increase their numbers. The young birds need constant attention. They even have to be taught how to fly. Raised in captivity, the birds have missed the flight training that they would have received in nature, so Doris provides it.
Okay, do you think you want to make another one? Okay. Good. That was excellent.
Doris has started an Eagle outreach program funded by the Florida Conservation Foundation. The major part of her work involves visiting schools around the country with her birds and explaining to young children the importance and beauty of these wonderful animals.
There you go. How many of you boys and girls here after school take your guns out?
She does this because children are now the main reason that eagles are having such a tough time making their comeback. Adult hunters know that it's a federal crime to shoot an eagle. The fine is up to $20,000. In fact, you can go to jail just for possessing an eagle feather.
Young eagle, it's our American emblem, and therefore if an eagle dies or gets killed in any way, we save all the feathers, the bones and everything, because eventually, boys and girls, there might not be any eagles left.
Now, to emphasize her point, she shows the students General Patton, an American bald eagle. General Patton was shot by young boys. They tore his wing off with their bullets, and he'll never fly again.
Now that's perfectly legal. There we go. That's the exercise that this bird gets. Can you believe that? That's all the exercise he gets. That's it. You get up there and just flop around. He feels happy right now because he just wants to exercise so much.
Her program is having quite an effect. In areas where she's lectured, there's been a dramatic decrease in protected bird shootings.
Boys and girls, I'm Doris Mager. I will continue to fight for our bald eagle because you asked for it.
We all owe a debt to Doris Mager. Her efforts to protect the American bald eagle are an inspiring example to everyone who cares about preserving America's precious wildlife. Thank you, Mrs. Mager.
Coming up, more of Rich Little and You Asked For It. And now back to Rich Little.
Here's an interesting matter. Dear Rich Little, I want to know how the Statue of Liberty got its name, and if she is a person or if she's just built. My school is Mountain View Elementary. I am 9 years old. I am in the 4th grade. My class would like to know if you are really famous or kind of famous. We watch your show, at least I do. You are very funny. I like you a lot. And this is from Amy Gill from Alaska. And we wrote, Dear Amy, thank you. I think you're very funny, too. The Statue of Liberty is supposed to symbolize the spirit of liberty that made our country great. She was a gift to us from the great nation of France. And one look at her, and you can tell that she's really built. And P.S., I guess I'm kind of famous. Shoot letters. Anyway, that's all the time we have today. We'll see you next time on... Good night, everybody.
This is John Harlan speaking. You Asked For It is a Sandy Frank production.